Hello, what's going on, Guardians? My name's Erupt and welcome back to another Destiny video. Today's video is going to be a full review of the exotic shotgun that fits in a primary slot called the Universal Remote. Now, you've probably been seeing this everywhere in Trials, considering it was fire-based Delphi and it was a very close range map in certain spots of the indoors area. So the first thing we're going to start off with by saying is this is of course a exotic shotgun, and it is unique because of its ability to fit in the primary slot. Not many weapons can do that. However, we do know that the No Land Beyond is an exception. It's a sniper rifle that fits in a primary slot, allowing you to have a second sniper rifle or mixing a sniper with a shotgun build or a sidearm build. There's lots of cool things that can happen when you have the ability to put a special weapon in the primary slot, which is really cool. But we're going to talk a bit about this gun's specs and how it feels in games, as well as just giving a description of the gun in general. So something to mention is this is favoured in PvP. PvE, it's still very good, but you still have to be very close with a shotgun, and to be quite honest, it doesn't fit particularly in either of them as a very big meta. It's everywhere, but it isn't a complete meta. It's not the strongest shotgun that you could pick. It has got some great range if you have the right perks on it, and it is quite powerful in some instances. However, I wouldn't call this a complete meta, but I would say it was the meta for Trials of Osiris at the time where Juggernaut was being used by every single Titan. To be honest, it still is. You see Juggernaut just about everywhere still mixing with the Universal Remote build, and the good thing about having this, as I said, is that you could use a sniper, so you could have a mix of whichever situation you were in. You could be using a shotgun and a sniper, or even using a sidearm if you're looking for some fully automatic in your life. So moving on to some of these specs about this weapon. Now, it has a great stability and it's easy to use as a shotgun in general. As I mentioned, the stability, you can really tell when you're running around the map. It helps quite a bit, and then as I said, with the easy to use, it's just one of those shotguns that you know exactly what it is, you're familiar with it. It feels very satisfactory when you kill someone in PvE or even in PvE. So it's a very great gun all around in terms of that. But the one biggest problem about this weapon is that it has a terrible impact. Mixing this terrible impact with the other spec, which is range, you're going to have a very bad time with this gun, because the gun's range is also at a minimum. It's at about 8, which makes it a very hard shotgun to use. I know shotguns aren't known for having massive range, but if you look at the exotic perk, which I'll read out at the end, this is just not one of those weapons that you'd expect to have terrible range. You shouldn't have to put so many perks on it. It is an exotic and you'd expect it to have some crazy exotic perks to it, but it's not the most amazing shotgun in terms of range and impact. So as I mentioned, you can increase the range, and that is with the perk Hammer Forged and also with the exotic perk, which is Universal Remote. Now obviously the gun's called Universal Remote, and its special exotic perk is when you are aiming down the sights, it has a massively increased range. And when they say massively increased, it still doesn't even make 50% of range. It doesn't get anywhere. It's really not a crazy range shotgun, and mixing that with, as I said, the low impact, it's not that good. But Hammer Forge does help that get a bit of a boost. So in all, I'd say it gets up to about a solid 30 in range. I wouldn't say it's the craziest thing, but it does give you a bit of help in terms of what you're used to with the start of the weapon compared to what the gun is fully upgraded. So I've had quite a good time with this gun, but I do say that you will miss out on a lot of kills even when you're aiming in. This gun doesn't really finish off a lot of kills. It's very good in the gunfights in the air when you're close to an enemy, and it's really good when you are aiming down those sights. But a lot of the time you want to hip fire shot, and if you're not going to be able to use that exotic perk when you're not aiming down the sight, then those hip fires are basically useless. So what I do recommend to you is completely aim down the sight. Make sure that you're not using this on a long range map indoors, and if you know an enemy's around the corner, be prepared to run and slide, and you can also shotgun them. There are also perks that give you +2 agility, which is very helpful if you're trying to run and slide. However, I just wanted range and I wanted more range. You could go with agility and run quicker at the enemy whilst having that exotic perk ready aimed in. You also see in the gameplay that I pushed through a few specials. I got through a Nova Bomb at close range with the shotgun, and I also pushed through a Blade Dancer and a Stormcaller, so I really can hammer down these specials and get close in, because when it gets close in, this gun is very powerful. The only problem is that the range really restricts you from getting any of the kills that you really want. Another thing when you're trying to finish off the kill with a second shot is that it has a bad reload time. So this gun actually does take quite a bit of time to reload, which doesn't allow you also to get a second shot in if you do only get the enemy down to full health or quarter health. So whatever the health is, you're not really going to have that much chance to finish them off, unless of course you're a Warlock with that crazy melee. But in general, if you're going to get a second shot in with a shotgun, it's either because the enemy is completely unaware or because they haven't got a shotgun on themselves. Earlier I did say that this should not be used over a primary or just any other sort of hand cannon in general if you're not confident with shotguns, or if you feel that you're on a mid to long range map, even on some short range maps. As I said, the range really restricts this from a lot of kills, and I don't really mean that as a little bit of a restriction. This has a massive restriction with its low range and low impact. The impact could really be worked on, and I do see that this needs some sort of buff. In terms of being an exotic, this really does not live up to the name. However, with a Titan and a Warlock, this works perfectly. Maybe I'm being so biased towards it not being a great shotgun because I'm a hunter and my melees aren't exactly going to reach the distance of what I would normally use a shotgun, but with a Warlock and a Titan, of course, you're going to reach over there straight away to finish off those kills. But when you do get a kill, as I said, it feels simple, it feels satisfactory, and it does feel really good. In total, I give this gun a 6.5. A 6.5 simply because it does feel good, it does feel easy to use. The range sometimes lacks, and it does help you in some situations, and just having the ability to be able to use this with a sniper rifle or a sidearms or another shotgun is really helpful. But that's really all for today, guys. If you did enjoy this exotic review, then be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this on social media for more Destiny tips, tricks, news, and updates in the community. My name has been Erupt, and have a great day.